how they went about it and the controversy they faced with the original rock, paper, scissors, because it does involve artificial intelligence. This is an anime opening if I've ever seen one. That's awesome. That was sick.
Wasn't that so
That was
cool?
super cool. I like that.
And you can create something that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to. That part of it is really cool. Welcome to Backseat Directing,
Where we talk about movies, TV shows, comics, and more.
we're your hosts,
Andrew.
and Aaron.
And we put out new episodes every Monday and Thursday.
And today we're reacting to Corridor's Rock, Paper, Scissors Anime 2.
3, 2, 1,
Action! All right, Andrew, today we're doing something a little different. We're reacting to another creator's content. It's a little controversial, it's a little groundbreaking, and it's really cool. I'm excited to show you this. I've already seen it, but you haven't, and you love animated or anime. So I'm excited to see like how you feel about the way that they went about creating their own anime.
Yeah, I think that it's very interesting, and I was fortunate to get some kind of background knowledge before we filmed this episode on like how they went about it and the controversy they faced with the original rock, paper, scissors, because it does involve artificial intelligence, which is a really hot topic right now. And did you want to, what did you want to talk about before we watch it?
So later in the episode, we're going to talk about the show itself, how they did it a little bit. We'll talk about like what our thoughts are about the style, the story, but then we'll dive more into what you were just talking about. And that's like the controversy of AI kind of taking over, taking jobs. Maybe, is it a form of cheating? Is it stealing? Is it
Copyright issues?
Is it a useful tool? And where is that line? So we'll do that after, but I kind of want to just jump right into watching the show together with you and the audience.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 3,
excited.
2, 1.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. They capture the feel off rip. They capture the feeling of an anime very well. Like this is an OP right now. This is
Their little title card, like
Yeah.
intro sequence.
This is an anime opening if I've ever seen one. And yeah, you got scenes from the first rock, paper, scissors. You've got scenes presumably from this one that I haven't seen yet. Traditionally, OP like leans towards like spoiling the entire thing.
To you, the divinely chosen ruler of Lagovia, King Philip.
Intense.
That's
The
not-
intensity of everything.
Yeah. The like over the top, super intense nature. And that sound effect too, that bling.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like they're going for like a classic anime. Like a JoJo or like maybe like a 90s anime.
This is boring. I can't believe Father is making us hunt for our own food.
Philip, quiet. Father brought us here to teach us a valuable lesson. Can't you see?
Today you must embark on a hunt to develop
Right away, it
the
looks a lot
rulers of
better than the
realm
first one. I don't know if you can tell already, but
and
just
learn
the
craft.
jittering of it all.
What should we catch?
One
Smoother.
hair each. Do not let me down.
They definitely, like they talked about behind the scenes, they ironed out the ghosting problem that they had in the original animation. Like that jump off that cliff off that little rock is very smooth for both of them.
Yeah, and they did that by just jumping on a green screen.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Not so hard, is it?
That's something very cool about this. It's all the performances are done by the actors, right? The Corridor crew.
Are we going to have to walk? Just give it up, Jules. The rest of the
But it's not exactly motion capture, right? It's technically different.
I'm sure there's one around here somewhere.
It's like motion capture, but like using a green screen rather than like a Moab suit or whatever. Mocap suit.
Did you see that?
Motion capture without the suit.
You were correct after all.
That was my hair!
Now I've got 2 You have done. Father will be so proud.
Please, give me one, just to carry back.
No.
I must show Father that I'm as capable to rule as my brother. I don't dare to return to Father with only shame carried in my hands. Wait a minute, my hands.
The drama.
Do you remember what Father taught us about holy combat?
You mean the game kings play?
Yeah. It's comical how in their interpretation of anime, it's like anime is always dramatic, but they are choosing to take things that are like trivial and purposefully dramatize them like beyond belief.
You must accept. We are both princes. You cannot refute the call.
It definitely is screaming JoJo to me.
And if I win,
What do you desire?
how about your soul?
My soul for a single hair? But of course he knows he can wait.
It does look like the same character, but younger, though. They did a good job with that.
I know Father loves us equally.
Also, I don't know if you noticed, but the blonde one, Nico, he doesn't have a beard. But he has a beard, so they had to figure out how to remove
Without
that.
the Holy Spirit that binds us, I'll be worthless, doomed to roam an empty planet.
Interesting.
As an apostate when rapture strikes.
What say you, brother?
Yeah, I didn't think about that initially.
1, 2, 3, shoot!
What Aaron means is this is, if you haven't seen the first one, they're younger in this part of the story. So the actor who is portraying him with that motion capture we talked about has a beard. So they had to remove that.
Yeah, so each one of these shots is
Jules, are you unwell? You're so pale and haven't eaten
a video of them on a green screen, every single shot. And it's basically an AI generated image over top of that video in simplistic terms.
Impossible. Jules, my son.
I love the classic look of them. Like it feels like Studio Ghibli. But it also has like a computer generated feel to it too. It's like intertwined because the design of the character feels like the classic drawn Studio Ghibli style, but then everything that fills in the character, the shadows and the colors feel more computer generated.
In the background,
Yeah.
and like the blurriness, you can't really add blur to
Yeah.
pencils.
Yeah.
Their task will come to an end. Look at them, so complacent and happy. Ruling is so easy. Peace, war, what's the difference anyway? Now they're in the palm of my hand, ready to obey my every order. Jules?
Yeah, because the movement's very reminiscent of like the new CG animes they're doing, like the Trigun.
Greetings, brother. The mark on your head.
Ha! Still recognize me? I'm no longer the kind soul I once pretended to be. I've trained for 1 whole year in the Order of the Crossed Blades.
This is my moment.
The Order of the Crossed Blades. Nice.
That's what he lost to
Yeah.
in the first one.
No! No! You dare refuse the call to holy combat? You must accept!
Do you not remember, brother? We are no longer of the same status. I am now a king, and you are not.
The X on the head too reminds me of like Neji and Naruto,
But by all
Narutoshi and
means, go challenge
JJK.
one of the servants. Maybe they'll entertain your delusions.
So you can't challenge him because he's not a king.
Bro's getting laughed out of the room right now.
King rejects the call for holy combat.
Only when a true king challenges me. Guards!
You saw that? There's kind of a slip. That some of that ghosting is still present.
Yeah, you'll notice too, because they've done a bunch of breakdown videos of this, right? So they've pointed out the flaws themselves. Like if you watch,
It's in the early days, this technology,
Yeah.
I feel like.
But you saw what excellence
like the
did.
lips aren't.
What do you expect?
Synced up perfectly.
Yeah,
You
and,
notice the eyes too.
and like
There's
if
some
you watch
flaws.
the hands, sometimes the hands are on backwards.
Elizabeth, my love, you keep the gates to my heart open. The people would suffer without you.
You flatter me.
Like look at his thumb right now. You see that?
We've had enough revelry.
I'm looking at the eyes a lot, and
Yeah.
when the eyes are further away from the camera, and when there's a lot of movement, the eyes get jumbled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like close up,
It's able to use their art reference better
Yeah.
when it's closer
You
up.
taught me everything, but now that I stand here, I'm filled with questions. Father, I need your wisdom. I have never questioned your love for me, but I begin to question the love of our Creator. Fate forces my hand to lose every battle. Have I been cursed since that rueful day when my
Oh, the white line around.
And this is just
Around him.
this is just creative, like
Yeah.
the reflection of the memory in the back of the tombstone. Like
There's
clever.
this one shot coming up that was so cool that you're gonna love.
If I must be a king to challenge him, then so be it. I shall not see him again until I wear a crown of my own.
ooh, I like the lightning a
I
lot
must find a kingdom
when they use
in
it.
need of a king.
I, King Goto, have come to
Nice
avenge
transition.
my kingdom. You have forced my subjects into submission, but I will
This
not
guy,
submit.
He's just wearing like a muscle suit. Like it looks very cheesy. But then when you use this, the AI to draw over it, it actually looks like something you would see in an anime, you know?
Yeah.
Like it just needs that reference point.
Oi! Keep the doors closed tonight.
His arm movements when he was walking definitely looked unnatural. I think that can be explained by the muscle suit.
Oi!
Knowing
Who
that.
goes there?
I am a guest of the king.
No further guests allowed tonight. King's orders.
I like this over the shoulder shot. Makes him very imposing.
Right here.
That's awesome. That was sick.
Wasn't that so
That was
cool?
super cool. I like that.
I am but a vessel sent out to sea.
His shadow, like silhouette shattering.
To my enemy, and let my enemy's lust bring their gaze.
They're doing a little camera shake when with each of his footfalls,
my side.
which like builds him up again as like a giant, like
Yeah.
shaking the
That
earth.
was my last match.
Look at him right out of the shadows like that. That was cool.
They're doing a good job of making him intimidating. It's a creative flourish that they definitely adding.
Like, look at his bicep. You can kind of see like
Yeah.
the fabric.
You literally just saw a wrinkle in the chest. Too. Oh, he's about it.
Did you see it? It's
Yeah,
like, look here.
It's cool because they're not taking themselves too seriously, and they're definitely like,
Barbarian in the castle.
Like the concept is funny, but it's really well executed.
yeah.
Like how creative is that? Like how often in elementary school did you do that? You know, like it's like I got you.
Let your eyes gaze upon
And now they just added like a power to it. It's funny.
They're taking goofy things that like are silly, like rock paper scissors, and making them into like absurdly serious. Like
Yeah.
the juxtaposition is
Judgment is upon you, king.
that one's not below his waist. That one's not below his waist.
And die with honor.
Does he think I'll give in to his little trick? Ha! Clearly he's never faced a mind
The
like
Volt.
mine. But Elizabeth, sweet Elizabeth, gentle and pure, her heart and her mind are
Oh,
wide
wow.
open. How else could her smile
Wow.
give effortless delight to all who are graced by her presence? Like a butterfly, she dances upon the air, but also much like a butterfly can be blown
Ooh.
off course by even a gentle breeze.
King Philip, your ancient knowledge has fortified your mind like no one else I've met. While the iron walls you've built to protect your psyche may hold, now I see there is a crack through which I can slip. And to whom might this treasure belong? I hope it doesn't slip from my palm and break.
Yeah, you can also see
Those are my mother's.
the animation when he's holding an item is hard
Yeah.
for the AI to run as well.
And whose ashes
Right.
might these be? Hope they weren't anyone special.
My grandfather.
Elizabeth, my eyes!
My grandfather, no. It's an urn.
Impressive. Tell me, is your will strong enough to stop a blade?
He's gotta throw a rock.
Got her.
Elizabeth!
Oh my gosh, that's classic anime right there. Boom!
That was the shot I was referencing.
The giant.
Wasn't that so cool?
Final gaze fall upon your dear queen.
Ha! I should have never underestimated him by luring Elizabeth first. He's put me in an unwinnable scenario that puts my very humanity at stake. If I follow my heart and look at my faithful wife, therefore beholding the symbol of death, I'll be luring my conscience away from the mental fortress I've worked so hard to build. But I'm afraid that by not looking, it will lay the final stone in the brick wall protecting my psyche, and my mind and heart will become impenetrable.
His dialogue's very over the top, but it's like very well written, you know?
Yeah.
Forever, I will lose my last shred of humanity.
Open your mind, Philip. Let it all in.
That's cool.
Your attacks will have no effect on me, barbarian. My instincts remain razor sharp.
But your wife, you must look. Have you no heart?
I know your faith and the discipline you swear by. You cannot lay a finger upon me if I do not look, and my faculties are stronger than your lure. You are powerless against me. Guards, put on your blindfolds and restrain this intruder! I want his hands covered in iron, never to be seen again!
I mean, covering him in the red color as well, sucking the color out of the background,
What have I become?
symbolizing that loss of his last shred of humanity he was talking about. Red obviously being associated with, more villainy. So Philip is this one, right? The king?
I think so.
He's starting a family. I feel like there's some Vinland Saga inspiration in here. There's some mixtures of different art styles, definitely. What's this? Post-credit scene?
Oi, peasant! Oh, me? Do you like battles? Love them! Oi, well, we want to have a big battle in episode 3, but we don't have enough troops. Oh, no! Well, what can I do? You can enlist on corridordigital.com.
Corridordigital.what?
Corridordigital.com. And if we get enough troops, well, we can make episode 3 and have a big battle.
Oh, that sounds great.
It's clever.
Oh, wow. I love this outfit. Aye, you're a handsome lad.
Shout out to Corridor Digital.
Hey you beautiful viewers, in celebration of this video, we've just released a limited edition
There we
anime rock,
go.
paper, scissors 2 t-shirt.
All right, so what did you think? That was your first time watching Rock, Paper, Scissors 2.
Yeah, I think that the most mind-blowing thing about this production is the behind the scenes. This is the creation, like the nature of it. It's like they titled one of their videos like, "Did we just change animation forever?" Like this is definitely groundbreaking. It seems like people are kind of up in the air as to whether it's like a good or bad thing. I think that no matter what, if you can do this, there will always be like a taste for the flavor of animation that came from like Studio Ghibli, and like a taste for that and animation, past the 2000s until now. I think that people like what goes into the hand-drawn animation. It's very, very different than this. Like this has its own style to it. I think more of the controversy, I guess, lies in how it's made rather than like the product.
Right. Yeah, as a smaller creator like we are and like they are in terms of comparison to big Hollywood studios, it's really cool that this technology is accessible to us for free, and you can create something that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to. That part of it is really cool. I think the blurry lines comes in where the AI is using reference from art that was not originally created for this idea. And then it gets even more blurred when studios are trying to use the likeness of people, actors, to like continue using them without having any like payback back to that actor or actress.
Yeah, you could theoretically use AI to like, people already do this. Like, you could make somebody else look like Tom Cruise, give them Tom Cruise's voice.
Yeah, deepfakes have been around for a long time now.
But as far as animation goes, you could use AI to make a new season of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, the potential for it is, it seems like we're just starting to scratch the surface.
Yeah.
So like, it's definitely something that can be dangerous in the hands of like studios, and I'm sure there definitely should be safeguards on it, and hopefully that's what they can come to terms on in agreement with with the unions right now. But we do have to protect intellectual property, and we also do have to protect creatives and their jobs.
Yeah, like how do you balance the inspiration versus plagiarism? Like how do you walk that line?
Yeah, because on the one hand, the human brain is doing something very similar to what the AI program is doing.
Yeah,
The human
exactly.
brain is, filmmakers like Chris Nolan, for example, just to pick someone off the top of the pile. Chris Nolan is heavily known to have used the movie Heat for inspiration when he made The Dark Knight. Now, does that make The Dark Knight less valuable? Does that mean he was copying?
It's a ripoff.
No, it doesn't mean that at all. But it's totally different considering he's a person. He took inspiration. Maybe there were things that it's like paraphrasing versus plagiarism. Like, he took inspiration from like the conversation that Robert De Niro and Al Pacino have in that movie. Yeah. He took inspiration from the vibe of that movie and used it in making his movie.
He included his own thoughts, his own interpretation of that content. AI is taking that interpretation and just creating it. Like, it's not necessarily adding anything new to it.
There's no work hours going into it.
Duplicating.
Yeah. The AI isn't like you said, not putting its own spin on it. There's no like man hours, no effort that goes into it for the AI. The AI is a program.
It's just copying it the best that it can with the picture reference that you're giving it.
I think the important difference and a big step in the right direction that Corridor crew took when they made this sequel was they have an art designer now who is drawing images of them as their characters from different angles, and they're feeding it art that essentially is their own rather than feeding it.
Right.
They didn't just feed it art from like some other anime, So I think that's an important step in the right direction, is starting from the AIs, like giving it the foundation of your own creation.
Right. And then from that, you can tell really cool stories that maybe you wouldn't have been able to in this way before. Like, this stuff's a lot of fun, especially for, like I said, like a smaller creator, being able to do something that a bigger studio would have to do with a lot more resources. Like, it's cool that it's all accessible, but like technology like this has come out many times before. I mean, they're not having crowds of people in a stadium anymore. All of that is CGI. Like, slowly but surely background actors aren't there anymore.
Actually, cool enough, a few things, which you're right, that is
or even environments. That's like all that stuff isn't there anymore.
I still appreciate it much more when a movie goes the traditional route. Like for the movie A Star Is Born, they went and filmed at Coachella, like for some of Lady Gaga's singing scenes.
But does that take away for films that don't do that?
I just think it, to me, a little bit, because I think it's cooler, the practical element, real humans there, real energy, you get the actors to be able to play off that. Like you've seen the clips of Jake Gyllenhaal where they snuck in a little bit of filming at like a UFC event. Like, I like that so much better. It adds to the movie. I don't know if I'd say it takes away from the other movies, but it adds to the movies that do use the practicality for me.
Yeah. I feel like you don't even tell all the time when it's happening, though. Like, I don't think it's necessarily taking away. It's just using resources in a different way to maybe more efficiently. However, then you get into the part of like, oh, well, this is all taking jobs. Like, they'd pay those background people to be there. They'd pay the set designers to be there. So like, where is enough?
Yeah. Well, like in Gladiator, I think they had like 400 extras as audience members in the Coliseum. And then they used cardboard cutouts and they used special effects, which this movie came out in 2000. So they used special effects at the time to fill in the rest of the arena, but that's still 400 people that were actually practically there. So yeah, it can be a big difference.
Yeah. What did you think of their actual story?
I think the story is goofy. It's like, I know that for them it's on purpose. I kept saying JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm not like a big JoJo's Bizarre Adventures fan. So for me, like the story is not like my favorite, but it's funny. Like it I feel like you're staring daggers at me right now.
I'm just looking at you.
I know you like.
I feel like you're avoiding eye contact with
like
me for
videos.
some reason.
I think the story is fun and silly, but I'm more impressed with how they did it than like being impressed with like the product.
And I'm sure that was their original thought too. It was more so to prove a concept rather than have an Oscar-winning story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was very creative. I'm curious to hear like how everyone else has taken this. Like, is this wrong? Is this a cool invention? Is it gonna push the movie industry forward, or is it gonna pull it back, or both?
Yeah, mention in the comments what your thoughts are, and I mean, you can check out Corridor Crew if you want this. You can easily watch the rock paper scissors short films.
They have a bunch of behind the scenes too of how they filmed this. One of the videos I watched was this full episode, but they had the episode and the green screen playing at the same time, so you can like see the original like acting of it and how they composed it and stuff.
Regardless of what we all ultimately as a society and as an industry, what everyone decides moving forward about this, they are testing the waters, kind of like intrepidly stepping out into the world of a new technology. And it can't be easy. It has to be difficult. I think exploring this conversation in the first place is like valuable. So just to like be able to talk about, is it good? Is it bad? How does it look? What's the result? It's kind of like a scientific method stage right now, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone has the answers, but at least when studios are involved, like there needs to be some sort of like payback to the people who should have the rights to themselves.
That's
and
the
their
other
likeness,
thing.
their performances.
That's the thing is like, if we're going to do it at all, how are we to go about doing it in the best way?
There needs to be some sort of regulation on it, at least in the actual movie industry. Like something like this, especially when they're like using their own artists and composers and stuff, like that's fine. It's just another tool. It's another form of like CGI, you know? But then big studios taking Harrison Ford and recreating him in a movie that he wasn't signed up for, that would be wrong.
Absolutely.
But yeah, let's expand on this conversation down in the comments below. I'm interested to see what you guys think on this subject matter. Thanks again for watching.
Oh, I have something for the end of this episode.
What do you have?
I know you're going to maybe do plugs, but we should end with rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay. That's good. All right. Yeah, we post new episodes every Monday and Thursday on our YouTube channel, Backseat Directing. Make sure you go check out Corridor Crew's channel. They have two channels, Corridor and Corridor Crew. You can check them out. And rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yes!